Hey everybody! So today we're going to be putting together our Virtual Friends Reveal Wheel card. So that is going to be this one right here, and it is a reveal wheel, so it does spin to show not only these friends but a sentiment, and everything has already been stamped for you. But the sentiment is happy virtual birthday, and then again we have our set of friends in like a zoom screen window. So inside your kit you should have, okay, let's go through it here. First is this little white brad, which I'm going to set on the side so that we don't lose it. And then going from the big to the small, you're going to have an envelope, a folded card base, blue card front base, a white mat, and then two of these reveal wheel pieces. One of them is going to be plain white, no window, and then the other one is going to be this polka dot piece with the window already cut out. And then for the little pieces, we're going to have this reveal wheel that's already been stamped for you, and you can also see that it has pencil lines drawn really lightly on it to show you where the window itself will be and to help you line it all up at the end. And then you also have this small circle piece that has a hole in the middle. This also goes with the wheel part, so I'm going to put that aside and add the brad to it since it's all going to go together. You should have a blue sentiment strip that says hope your day is glitch free, and then you're going to have a bunch of little hand colored pieces. These were all hand colored with Copic markers, but you should have a balloon, computer screen, table with a mouse, stack of books, and three different little bear friends. The first one is sitting, you can't see his legs. The second one has his arms open for a hug. And then the last one looks like he's reaching for something, and he's going to be the one we pair with our balloon. So as far as tools go, I recommend that you have adhesive, of course. I'm going to be using a roll of double stick tape, but you can use whatever you usually use to stick paper to paper. I'm also going to be using a tube of liquid glue. This is just something that I always have on hand for the smaller pieces. I also like to use tweezers to help take off the adhesive backs, as well as to help line up some of the smaller pieces. We're going to need an eraser to get rid of the pencil lines. And then super important is the foam tape or 3D dots. Don't make fun of my roll of foam tape. I know it's humongous. I do a lot of projects, so I burn through this big roll pretty quickly. But then we also need some colored markers or pencils or something to color our friends. I'm using Copics. Oh, and then I forgot to mention scissors. I realized later doing this video that I also needed scissors, so you might want to grab a small pair of scissors. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to build our card front. So I'll leave the finished card here as a reference, but we're going to start with the polka dot piece. Make sure the window's on top, cutout is on your right. We're going to take our computer screen, put that on our window, and then we're going to take our table, which is going to go just below the screen because our computer is sitting on the tabletop. And then we have our sentiment strip on the very bottom. And I like to start out with the three pieces, these three big pieces I should say, because it gives you a better idea of what the spacing on the card front is going to look like. So instead of placing down your bears and realizing, oh, they're too far apart and not lining up correctly, it's easier to me if you start with the big stuff first. So next we're taking our scissors, and that's only if you choose to fishtail your sentiment strip. You can also leave it straight, but I'm going to go ahead and fishtail both ends of my sentiment strip, and this is sped up. But once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and take double stick tape and get these pieces glued down to the polka dot piece. And then you'll notice that for some of the smaller parts, I like to use liquid glue. And then I usually put them on in little dots because you don't need a lot. You don't want it oozing out everywhere. but it also makes it nice to not have to like sit down and cut tape to make everything fit. But I'm lining it up under my window, making sure my computer screen is in the window. And I was a little bit crooked with my sentiment strip, so I'm fixing that before I go ahead and do everything else, so that not everything is crooked on the card. But once I have these anchor pieces, that I like to call them, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the pieces added to the scene. So we have the first little bear who is going to be sitting on our stack of books. And then let me trim down the balloon because it didn't cut nicely and there's a little bit of a bump to it. But that one is going to go into the top left corner. And we're going to have the reaching bear who's holding the balloon for us. And then this little guy in the corner kind of waving and ready for his hug. But I'm adding a liquid glue to these pieces. And then some of my liquid glue puddled a little bit on the side. So you'll see me go off screen a little bit and kind of smear it onto the bigger parts like on the balloon. But I'm just tucking this balloon string under the bear's hand. And then I'm starting with the bear first, the sitting bear, so that he kind of reaches the mouse or almost reaches the mouse because I don't want him sitting too low. But once we have our front done, I'm going to go ahead and put together the wheel. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to color. Again, I'm using Copic pens. Feel free to use any coloring medium that you're comfortable with. It's a really small image, so it's really easy to color. The only thing I recommend is going a little bit past the pencil lines on the bottom because you are going to see a little bit past them when you turn the wheel. But once we have that colored, what we're going to do is we're going to go pick up our brad and we're going to start putting the wheel together. So the brad is going to go through the small circle, and the small circle is same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you put the brad through. But the brad goes first through the small circle, and then we're going to kind of turn it over so that it can go through the back of our scalloped wheel piece. Again, go through the back and then open up the prongs on the front side, which is the side that you just colored. Okay, this is super important we do it in this way, this order. So brad through the circle, then through the back of the reveal wheel, the scallop piece, and then open the prongs on the front colored side. And then we're going to take some of our foam dots or foam tape and add that to the back only on the small circle piece. If it goes beyond the circle and it gets stuck to the wheel, then our wheel is not going to spin. So you don't need a lot. I'm just using really small strips to go around the brad only on the circle piece, and then removing the backing to make it sticky. And then we're going to take our polka dot piece again, and then we're going to do our line up. So what we're going to do is line up those pencil lines in the corners of our windows. So you can see the pencil line. I'm trying to line it up in the window so that you can't really see it. It does not matter if you use the sentiment side or if you use the virtual friends side. As long as you get those pencil lines kind of lined up in those corners, it's all good. And then once you get it lined up, we're going to use one hand to hold it, not touching the foam tape. Take our white piece and line up those corners. Okay, so again, hold it with one hand, don't touch the foam tape. Line it up in those corners and start to press it down, but don't let go of the reveal wheel until you get everything pressed down. So I'm pressing down in the center right there so that the foam tape will stick to the white piece. And then we can move the polka dot piece on the side and we see that this is how our reveal wheel is going to spin. So what we're going to do next is erase our pencil lines. I totally picked a bad eraser, so I had to go find a new one. But this you can do while it's still connected. You can take it apart if you feel more comfortable doing that. But since we're just erasing the pencil lines and they're pretty lightly drawn in, it's not difficult to do while it's still connected. It's not going to ruin the card. But when you're done erasing, what I like to do is line it back up with the card front to make sure that it still looks good while it's spinning. So I'm going to hold it kind of in the corners so that the wheel can still spin. And once I'm happy with the alignment, what we're going to do is we're going to take our foam dots or our 3D tape again and put adhesive on the entire white space of the white card base, if that makes any sense. You're just going to make sure that there's no adhesive touching the wheel. Yeah, so you want to put 3D adhesive in all of the empty spaces, making sure that it doesn't touch, because you want to make sure that the wheel can spin really freely and it's not going to get stuck. But once we have all of our adhesive backings removed, take our card front, line it up again, and just press the whole thing into place. And then we have the most difficult part done. All that's left to do is sticking all of the rest of the layers together, and we have our reveal wheel card done. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the backs of all the pieces and then stick together our layers. So our polka dot piece is going to go through our white card mat, and then our white mat is going to go on our blue card base, and then this card base is going to go on the folded card. Just please make sure that your folded card is opening up the right way so that your card doesn't open upside down or something like that. But once we have that all stuck together, we have our reveal wheel card ready to go, and we have made a Virtual Friends birthday card. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.